All right, everybody, we're going to start in a couple of minutes here. Cool Kid, I see you there. And hey, Pib. And as I promised, I thought that even though the Monique video hasn't reached 1,000 views yet, I decided that, what the heck, why not just go ahead and do a live stream on the subject. Yes, I actually have recorded and edited about 4 have and have not videos, as well as 2 other videos. Hey Yvonne, hey Terry. And again, I have and have not videos on the way later tonight, but keep in mind this particular video, we're actually going to tackle a pretty important issue that's going on right now. And, it's not just about the whole Netflix boycott. We're going to be talking about the interview on the Breakfast Club and just in general, because I believe it was announced that Tiffany Hardash actually got a Netflix contract, but I don't know the amount. I want to make it clear. I heard on the Breakfast Club that it was rumored from different sources that it was 800,000, but again, that's a pure rumor. There's no confirmation on that. But overall, what we're going to do is just have a healthy discussion here. Let me know in the chat your thoughts, because, well, I did that 27 minute long video, and I just wanted to get some insight on what you're thinking as well. And as I posted on the community tab, there is the new super chat thing now, where you should see a $ underneath say something when you want to chat. And that's pretty much if you want to donate anything to the channel. Of course, super chat will get priority, where I'll read your questions first. But if you want to, I appreciate it. If not, hey, that's okay too. Hey, Soft Caramel, Charnette, support. There we go. E. Denise. Cool Kid. Quincy, tell never. Like, do you believe? Quincy Jones, I'll probably do a video on that, maybe. Soft Caramel, yeah, you can't see me because my camera isn't working at the moment, only my microphone. I'll definitely do a live stream with my picture soon enough, but not today. Hey, Jeremiah. Tiffany said she had her contract before Monique's. Yes, that is absolutely correct. The contract was already set up. The deal was just finalized recently. And I see Charnette says support. Now, let me just say, if you haven't watched my video already now, I'm not really in for the whole boycotting Netflix, because for the everyday man or woman, Netflix is an inexpensive platform where we can watch our television shows, movies, new comedy series. Like this morning at 4 a.m. I was watching Marlon Wayne's Wokish. That was a hilarious stand-up comedy. I loved it. That was my first time seeing one of the Wayans on stand-up. I remember as a child seeing Damon Wayans on a couple of specials, but I wasn't old enough to actually, watch and understand. But this was really good. Soft Caramel. Yeah, I'll do a live stream with my face soon enough, but it's just the camera isn't working right now. Some people were saying Mo was being disrespectful to Charlemagne. I'll put it this way. It was a really tense interview. It was a really tense interview. I mean, there was really no love there. I mean, at the beginning, they hugged each other and all, but the interview really wasn't an interview. Terry, and again, Netflix support our community with great shows about our people. Look at all the African-American independent films, the documentaries, the movies, the stand-up specials, the TV shows. Alicia, hi, this is my first time hearing you, so I'm here. Well, hey, I appreciate that. And for everybody who's new to the live stream and the channel, you most likely would have guessed that most of my work would have been have and have not or Tyler Perry related. But I just found that this was probably one situation where it was worth talking about. And based off how successful this video is, I'll definitely do more videos on, media culture and, popular topics. But yeah, let me just lay down some bullet points, and I put this in my video. Calling your manager, yes, I understand it's your husband, daddy, during a radio interview. I feel like that was unprofessional. Charlemagne and Monique, this is just my personal opinion based off of my perspective. I didn't think it was, proper that she was calling him Leonard. I get that this is his real name, but if it was one of those situations where they agreed upon that before getting on the radio. Like, hey, is it okay if I call you Leonard or what, Leonard, because that's your name? And it would have been like, oh, it's an auntie nephew kind of situation, you know, where it's your elder calling you by your real name, not your radio name. But I feel like if I were a person in a position where I have a title, I would want to be called by that title unless I gave you permission otherwise. I feel like that was disrespectful. Do I feel that she deserved Donkey of the Day? In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because I feel like when it comes down to the Donkey of the Day, especially on a platform like the Breakfast Club that's literally international, I would do my research before labeling somebody that title. But I do believe, in my opinion, that Monique is using these bigger causes like, you know, racial and gender inequality and biases to fuel her own campaign to get more money from Netflix. And another thing, I feel that when it comes down to the Oprah, Tyler Perry, and again, just because this channel is Tyler Perry themed in regards to the haves and the have-nots, I'm not going to say that, oh, well, because she dissed Tyler Perry, I don't like her. That's not the situation. But I do believe that when it comes down to it, I don't think a huge amount of people will be saying you're hard to work with unless you were hard to work with. And another thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I listened to the interview twice, did she ever answer any questions? I feel like she, don't get me wrong, Monique and her husband, they know how to smooth talk. They know how to say the right things to, you know, bring up this and that, but they never really answered any questions. I never heard her answer any question like, did you renegotiate? What are your plans? Like, what do you want from Netflix? It's funny because she was always throwing out the money that Amy was getting, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, 20 million, 13 million, 20 million. But it was never discussed how much she felt she deserved. If she renegotiated, how much was it for? Because Charlemagne was correct in the fact that her husband said they did. She said she didn't, or one or the other. I forgot exactly which one. Cool Kid, she dances around the question. Yes, I agree. And I feel that when it comes down to it, that interview really didn't go anywhere. Like literally, it was her agenda was, she didn't outright say it, but she wanted to know, why was I Donkey of the Day? And that was literally the meaning behind the interview. She didn't say a retraction, but you can feel like, I'm going to get on this show to get rid of this Donkey of the Day, or at least flesh out why. But even, okay, let me put it this way. Charlemagne may not understand what Monique is fighting for, but I don't feel like Monique actually thoroughly explained why she's doing what she's doing. That's my thing. Because when you're on a platform like the Breakfast Club, which has a huge following, I would want to make it clear why I'm doing this, you know, staging this boycott. Because even though you might not agree with everybody in that room, think of the hundreds of millions of people that are listening to that interview. They want to know why you're doing what you're doing. My thing is, I agree with like Charlemagne and DJ Envy in regards to, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of venue when it comes to business and Netflix. Think of it this way. I even made the example in my video I did. Look at somebody like a musical icon like, you know, Diana Ross or Gladys Knight. I feel like they are legends, icons, whatever title you want to use. I feel like they are very huge in their own respects. But when you compare them to somebody current, like let's say a Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande or an Adele, like let's say Diana Ross and Taylor Swift are both up for the same concert, you know, like they're in the same venue. They both have a slot for 30 minutes to an hour of musical, you know, performance. Who do you think is going to be paid more, you know? Who do you think is going to be paid more? Not if you're blackballed. Yeah, Yvonne, I definitely feel like I'm not saying, let me put it out there this way. I do not feel like there is no inequality going on out there in the world today, business world or real world, when it comes to gender or ethnicity. I'm not saying that. Now, another thing I didn't like about Monique is, and again, this doesn't really go against just Charlemagne, but I've noticed this in a few of these interviews and whatnot. When you say something she doesn't like, or if you disagree with something she's doing, she will literally throw you under the bus in terms of, oh, well, you don't support black women whatsoever. And I'm like, that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. I mean, that's like if I go to Burger King and I tell the employee, yeah, so the cook burnt my sandwich and I would like a refund. Oh, so you're saying like you don't like any burgers whatsoever? You see what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. Cool Kid, I think Oprah may have gotten that. Now, I do know from like interviews and stories and whatnot, apparently Oprah Winfrey on her show had Monique's brother who molested her, as well as her father and mother, and she called Monique about it. And she said, look, do what you got to do, but, you know, if you want, I don't want any part of the show, with her brother. But she didn't know that her mother was going to be on the show and her father, and that was pretty much throwing her off. So when Oprah called her back, you know, or Monique called Oprah, Oprah was like, well, if you feel like I did anything to offend you, then I apologize. It wasn't really an outright apology. And then, of course, you look at, I believe it was Precious, where she got into it with like Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels about promoting a movie like overseas, but she had done everything on her contract. Like she pretty much did all the promotional venues she was obligated to do. But when they asked her to like go overseas to promote the movie for free, she was like, I'm not doing that. And plus it's the holidays. I want to spend time with my family. Now, I agree that promotion and traveling like that for free is kind of a downer, especially if it's during the holidays with the family. But I mean, like, for me, it would have been like, well, hey, if you fly me out and whatnot, if you take care of all the expenses, and I'm on my way. But again, here's my thing. I'm not in the music industry, film industry. I'm just a regular person like everybody else. So when it comes down to giving up Netflix, you know, I'm going to have some concerns, because here's my big thing. If her and the husband, Monique's husband burned a lot of bridges. He ruined her career. Now, I don't know everything that goes down behind the scenes, but let me just say that a lot of the things that have been going on negatively in Monique's career have sort of been linked to the whole husband situation. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's my perspective. So, that is true. Denise, I did see the interview with The View and Whoopi. Trust me, I'm getting to that. But when it comes down to it, I want to know, like, what are we boycotting for exactly? I mean, yes, it is a big issue with gender and racial bias and inequality, but I don't feel like we have anything to gain from that, because look at the time we live in today, where it's like every week there's a boycott for something. Every day. I remember a few weeks ago, like a couple of months ago, it wasn't a day that went by when some person wasn't trending or on the news because they were accused of sexual harassment, or, you know, this company is we're going to stage a boycott because they put this African American boy in this hoodie or whatever that said like monkey or what, I forgot what it said, but was it H&M? Was it H&M? There are just so many different Me Too, so many movements and boycotts. It is hard to keep up. Not to mention, I feel like it's hard to get behind anything these days because there's always some kind of hidden agenda, or in my opinion, somebody like Monique will take these movements and then use them for personal gain. Tell me this. Let's say hypothetically there was a boycott on Netflix, and Netflix conceded and gave Monique the money she felt she deserved as a legend, which again, we do not know how much. What does that do for us? Like, again, the everyday man or woman that can afford Netflix, because cable is like 10, 15 times the amount that a Netflix monthly subscription is. What would I gain from that? I mean, if Monique makes millions of dollars, is she going to give back to the community? Is she going to give me a kickback, you know, personally? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just ridiculous. And then, as I said before, when you have a major number of people saying that you're hard to work with, then that's your reputation. I think DJ Envy was my favorite part of the Breakfast Club interview, mainly because I feel like he wasn't being attacked at all, because I believe he said that, yeah, Monique said her Periscope fans say that he's the only person they like. And he broke it down. He's like, look, I'm a businessman. You're a businesswoman. Now, personally, if I was in Netflix position, if nobody else is offering you any deals and you have a reputation for being difficult to work with, I would give you a low offer. I agree. And that has nothing to do against Monique, but that's just a business aspect. And you look at Amy, and I will agree with Charlemagne, and I'm not saying this in hate. I'm not a fan of Amy's comedy. I just don't feel like her comedy relates to me, or I can relate to it. I'm not faulting her, but you have to look at the fact that, again, what have you done for me lately? The book, the movie, the tours. You can't deny that. And then Netflix is going to be like, well, look at all she's done recently, her quote unquote resume. People are instantly going to click on that special, whether they like it or not. It's going to bring in a lot of drawing power. And if you look at Monique, I don't think it's going to do the same, because I grew up with the Parkers. Heck, I got the DVD set of the Parkers from Amazon for like $25 a couple months ago. And also, hey, you know, Amazon, I don't have any sponsors, but if you're looking to collect, you know, shows from your past growing up, I would suggest Amazon Prime. I actually have the Parkers. I actually bought the Parkers and Sister Sister for like $25 or $28 each. They're great. It just brings back memories. But growing up, I'm 26. I was born in 91. I know Monique best from the Parkers. I remember her in Two Can Play That Game. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. Precious. But recently, like, let's talk the past few years, the only major role I remember her in is Almost Christmas. And my problem with that is Almost Christmas, she keeps using that against Amy's recent movie about numbers and money and whatnot. Now, don't get me wrong, Almost Christmas pulled in a lot of money considering the budget. But at the same time, Monique, she's kind of acting like, and again, this is just how I perceived it, she's acting like she was the one that drew people into that movie. But keep in mind, you had Being Mary Jane / Gabrielle Union was in that movie. Danny Glover was in that movie. Carrie Hilson was in that movie. I'm sorry, I forgot this woman's name, but she was the girl that played in Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She was the woman that was married to J.B. Smooth's character in the movie. And the list goes on. So there are a lot of strong, you know, especially well-known black actors and actresses in that movie that brought in a crowd. I will admit, Monique was my favorite part of that movie. I forgot her name on the show, on movie, but Monique's character was my favorite character on that movie. So, yeah. But, hey, Chandler, Almost Christmas was her last major role. Yeah, definitely. Basically, you look at Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Again, Charlemagne hit the nail on the head. Look at the fact that even though those two black men haven't had major comedy specials for some time, they've been around touring the world. So here's my thing. Like, let's say if Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock didn't do any award shows, any movies, any tours, and they only banked their success, like, you know, they cut ties on everything after the Chappelle show, after Everybody Hates Chris, and then they only got a couple of $1 million, and then they'll be pissed off and pull a Monique, it would make sense that, okay, you're not making the $20 million contracts you have now because you kind of cut your ties after your TV shows, which were hits. So I agree that this is a what have you done for me lately kind of a venture. So I think I said enough on my piece. I have more to say, but I want to get to these chats here because I see a lot of chats and I don't want to make anybody feel like I'm ignoring them. So let me go ahead. Kimberly Elise, thank you, Melrose 1. That's her name. Thank you. And she looks good too. I heard that Netflix at first offered her $3 million. She turned that down, and that's when they wanted to give her 500,000 or something like that. Yeah, I don't have all the information, but let me say this. Has anybody watched Monique's interview on Sway in the Morning? I watched that interview first. Then I watched the whole Breakfast Club Donkey of the Day thing, and then I watched the actual interview. And there's some conflicting information there because my thing with Monique is, and I get, she kind of knows what she's doing. When she's on these interviews, especially Black Radio Ventures, she asks these hard-hitting questions that I wouldn't feel comfortable asking because I'm working at a radio station most likely owned by, you know, white people. So I don't want to say anything that'll mess up my. She's like, so Sway, Do you think I'm worth $20 million? She'll ask you those kind of questions to see if you'll answer the way she wants you to, because if Sway didn't say 20 million, I'm pretty sure she would be roasting him as well. And I love Sway in the Morning. And then you look at the fact that the interviews are not lining up. I urge you, look at the interview on Sway in the Morning, then watch the one on the Breakfast Club and tell me some of them answers don't line up. Now, on The View, I mean, I think that interview was maybe 8 to 11 minutes long. The first 8 to 11 minutes was literally her telling the whole story about being blackballed, why to boycott Netflix, and blah, blah, blah. But then we get to Whoopi Goldberg talking about, hey, you should have called me and I would have told you how to, you know, what you would have been. But she did make a good point. Like, look, if you're on contract to promote that movie, you promote the movie. So Monique, I give her props because she did everything that her contract obligated. But here's my thing. I used to work in that call center I was telling you about, and I was pretty much, you know, getting students registered and whatnot. I always went far and above the margin I needed to be in. I wanted to be at the top of the charts because that's what made me get up in the morning to go to that job, to give it 110%. Now, I could have easily just did the bare minimum that I was being paid for. Like, I didn't get any bonuses or whatever from, you know, being at the top of the chart each month. But I went in there because I wanted to kill it. I wanted to go in there and say, at the end of the day, when I hung up my headphones, I know I gave the best I did. But when it comes down to Monique, it's kind of like, especially in the movie industry, I would want to do everything I could to make sure people knew about the film, went out to see the film. Like, you know, I feel like, yeah, there might have been some kind of agreement if you come overseas and whatnot to promote this movie, especially during the holiday season. But my thing would be, you know, hey, if it's now my contract, but if you pay for my flight and whatnot, then hey, I'll be more than happy to go out there. Do you love chicken? Me, yes. Well, I actually have some hot wings in the fridge I got from Kroger last night. So when I finish this live stream, I'm gonna eat on that, eat some wings. But yeah, the interview with The View was kind of awkward, especially when Whoopi Goldberg was kind of like, yeah, okay, well, we'll be right back. So I mean, literally, there was nothing to say about that. I really don't have anything else because it was so short. But let me just say this. She's not worth $20 million. Well, at least not no more. I agree wholeheartedly. If Monique had been on tour recently, if she's been doing some of the things that Chris and Dave have been doing, yes. Yes, I would definitely agree she would be. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Monique is worth more than $500,000. I think she's worth more than $500,000. Dave Chappelle name is guaranteed big money on return, not Monique. I agree. Let me put it this way. When it comes down to Monique, if she was trying to do this for relevancy, let me just put it this way. If people forgot or didn't know who Monique was then, they definitely know her now. But another thing, and this is from me growing up and not knowing much about her stand-up. I did watch a couple of her specials growing up, but all right. And again, I haven't heard or anything of her recent jokes and whatnot, but here's my thing. I remember growing up watching the Parkers, watching her in movies, watching some of her comedy specials. A majority of her material had to do with the fact that she was a big, beautiful black woman. But hey, she was confident in herself. I admire that. But most of her material had to do with, you know, making fun or, you know, talking about skinny women and whatnot. And, you know, talking about how she hates them and how they all about dieting and stuff like that. So I remember there was a time where she kind of faded out of the spotlight. And then when she came back, she lost a lot of weight. And hey, I mean, hey, that's great. I was proud of her and whatnot. And I still am. But my thing was, you kind of became the people you were talking about. Like, you lost all that weight, so you became those skinny women you were making fun of. So my thing was, okay, Monique, now that you're kind of coming back into the spotlight, or at least, you know, trying to do movies and whatnot, what's your new material going to be about when most of your old material is making fun of skinny women? That's my thing. Like, what do you have to bring to the table now? And another thing you think about is, again, the whole Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry thing. Like, hey, I get it. Like, if you felt you were wrong, then hey, you were wrong. So you should definitely try to rectify that. But here's my thing: when you're in a position, especially social media, I would try to approach those people behind the scenes over the phone and sort things out personally. Because when you bring that kind of stuff to the limelight, you got to look at yourself like, am I going to be sacrificed for this? Am I going to be sacrificed to this? For this? Because when you look at the Monique boycott situation, I don't think Monique has the fan power to put a dent in Netflix's income. That's what I'm saying. Because you look at the fact that when she called out Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, it's almost like, you know, poking a stick at the beehive. You know, if you say something about Beyonce, the entire beehive will come after you. I feel like when she poked at Oprah, Tyler, and Lee Daniels, she turned off any of her fans that are also fans of those three individuals. That's my thing. That's my thing. Dang, I will admit, y'all are sending me a lot of. I don't think I've seen this many chats on a have and a have not live stream. So to get this on Monique, wow. And don't get me wrong, like I know she's doing comedy clubs and whatnot, but I feel like, you know, if you want to step up your game to like pull up the drawing power, you would definitely want to do like a arena or a tour. And also, I remember. Yeah, you're right. Melrose and the Queens of Comedy. I remember watching that too. Most of her material had to do with skinny women. That's my thing. But I also, there was also the talk about if you did a Netflix special, then for 2 years you couldn't do anything outside of Netflix. That's another big thing. So $500,000. I mean, hey, you would make more money on the road. I remember like the Breakfast Club and other interviews. She was like, I could bank around $2 million if I did, you know, 2 years of my touring as opposed to $500,000 for a Netflix special. But I will say this, here's my attitude towards it. I would have done that special to prove them wrong. Like if you couldn't renegotiate, I would definitely take that $500,000 to one of two things. Either do your own thing and make more money, or go on Netflix, do that special, just smash it, like destroy it, like make it to the point where the quality of that special beats the crap out of Amy's. You know, like more people will be giving. You might not get the views that Amy, Dave, Chris receive, but your reviews should be through the roof. Like, you know, just to prove them wrong. That's what I would have done. Not to mention Netflix is such a huge platform that more people will be aware of who you are, especially the younger generation. But again, that's just my opinion. I love me some Dave Chappelle. He's funny. Dave Chappelle's specials on Netflix are the only ones that I've watched repeatedly. I did watch the D. Ray Davis one 3 times, Cedric the Entertainer twice. The worst one was Cat Williams, in my opinion. In my opinion, I did not like that special. The first 25 minutes, I didn't even laugh. I didn't even get a laugh until like 30 minutes in. But I would highly recommend watching the Chris Rock Tambourine, Marlon Wayne's Wokish. I just watched that this morning. I was laughing my butt off the entire time. I think it's because Marlon Wayans has such a energetic personality that I never felt bored. Like it's one of those specials where you can't just listen to it. You have to look at it because of his facial expressions, the physical comedy. It's just amazing. All right, but let's see here. Let me go back through these chats because most of these chats I actually answered when I was doing my own, you know, monologue, if you will. Yeah, and I don't think she's worth 20 million or 13 million, but she's definitely worth more than 500,000. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, Denise, as I said before, she was not the only heavy hitter on Almost Christmas. I mean, let me just put it this way. If you look at her recent interviews, like on the Breakfast Club and whatnot, and The View, and how she talks about Netflix and whatnot, it's not really helping her statements that she's not difficult to work with. I feel like if you do something that rubs her the wrong way, or if things don't get her way, then maybe her husband, I feel like her husband is her hype man. You know, like if something doesn't go right, Monique might not do much about it. Like she'll probably brush it off, but then her husband will make it a big deal. Like, you should be treated more better than this. You should get more money than that. And that's when things just go through the roof. Um, and I feel like another thing is when you're on a platform like again the Breakfast Club, like Angela Yee said on the Donkey of the Day breakdown, like on a separate video, it's like I feel like she's doing a boycott tour as opposed to a comedy tour. If Monique put the same energy she's in a comedy tour that she's using towards this Netflix thing, she would be making a lot of money. But again, is she doing this to make herself well known again? I don't know, but let's just put it this way. If people didn't know who she was then, they definitely know who she is now. So maybe that'll do good for the comedy special. But that's another thing. I think it wasn't until the very end where Angela brought it up just to kind of quell the fire, because she was going in on Charlamagne. They were both going at each other. She was like, so what's next? Like, what do you have planned next? Oh, the special's going to happen, baby. It's still going to happen. But I feel like she should have used that platform not just to go back and forth about Donkey of the Day and not answer any questions, but even if it took her, even if she had to rehash the entire situation, which she did, but at the same time, it was more, I felt like when it wasn't her going at Charlamagne, it was her just griping. I didn't feel like she explained anything. I don't feel like she talked about what her future plans were. Like, if she gave us some jokes to kind of quell the tension, to make it seem like, okay, Monique, I get that you're going through some stuff right now, but you're telling some jokes now that make me want to be engaged in your comedy special. Yeah, Lori, a lot of women do not see her the same way, especially the plus size women. Let me put it this way. Like, look, being healthy, like being confident and happy with who you are. Hey, thumbs up. That I definitely agree. But being healthy is also something that's important as well. Like, I get it. Some people have health problems because it's hereditary and whatnot. But my thing is, when you are an icon for a specific group of people, like she represented big women, then you think about, if I lose all this weight, will I be losing a fan base, And I think, speaking of the weigh-ins, I think it was Damon Wayans who did a Breakfast Club interview in like 2015, and the subject of Bill Cosby came up. And again, I'm not saying what I think on that, but I'm just talking about that specific interview. When it comes to Damon, he was like, they asked him, like, why do you think nobody's supporting Bill Cosby with these sexual allegations? And he was like, that's because when Bill Cosby started speaking out against young black men about being lazy, sagging their pants, not working, being responsible, that's when he lost us, like the black culture. So when Bill Cosby was being accused of all those things, nobody stood up for him. I feel like the same thing is kind of going on with Monique in a sense, because when she spoke out against like Lee Daniels and Oprah and whatnot, that shut down a lot of her black fans, supposedly. Like, again, when you look at the fan bases of Oprah, Tyler, Lee Daniels, they probably eclipse or dwarf Monique's fan base. So let's say if you were a fan of any or all of those three individuals and Monique literally said, suck my, you know what, then that's a major turnoff. Like, nobody's going to support you. That's why I believe there are some, like, Chance the Rapper and a few other people like supported Monique, but at the same time, I haven't seen anything negative happen to Netflix. If anything, Netflix is still Netflix. Like, it goes back to, how can you ask the everyday working man and woman who most of your fans consist of to give up something that's inexpensive like Netflix, because there are so many other black movies, shows, and comedy specials on that platform. So when you say like, hey, I have nothing against my brother Chris or Dave, or against my sister Amy, when you're telling us to boycott Netflix, you're literally harming those individuals, because their specials won't be viewed if people boycott. So cool kid, yeah, because a lot of people love Oprah and she has a lot of power behind the scenes. Yeah. Denise, when you are a comedian and you capture all cultures and make them laugh, then you're on to something, and that's Dave Chappelle. Thank you. Enough said. Yeah, Chandler husband probably ruined her career in a lot of ways. Yeah, I agree. I do feel like she's bitter. I definitely do. Yeah, again, I can't speak on the whole manager situation with the husband, but let me just say that when her husband was not her manager back there, remember when she had like the talk show, the Monique show, like on BET late at night? Like, that was Monique in her prime, like still on TV doing movies. But after her husband took the reins, that's when things kind of fell apart. Kind of like when Usher fired his mother as his manager. That's when his life and career kind of went down, but then it came back up. Hey, I'm not ending the stream, but I just want to get a quick poll in the chat. How do you like me doing these kind of videos and live streams? I'm like talking about hot topics, something that's not Tyler Perry related. Like, would you like me to continue doing these kind of live streams and whatnot, talking about things that are, important to the community, so to speak? Like, would you like me to do more videos and live streams on that? Dominique, yes, I actually watch both clips, and I'll be talking about those soon. Dominique, okay. And I mean, literally, when it comes down to it, I feel like, again, the Breakfast Club, and not just that, but a lot of people on Twitter, it's all about drawing power. Like, I don't feel like Monique could draw in that many people. However, I feel like if she did one heck of a comedy special, then a lot of people will watch it. But I feel like I would have done it just to prove Netflix wrong. And, that would have definitely mean that if there was a deal in the future, she would have been making a lot more than $500,000. Not to mention all the deals that would have been on the table for movies and television shows after the Netflix special aired and after the whole 2-year bubble of not doing anything occurred. So, interesting. So, I see a few of you have said yes. So, let's just put it this way in the comment section. Or how about on my community tab or whatnot? I might do polls and whatnot, or on Twitter. You can let me know, hey, this is a hot topic that they're talking about, Jeremy. I want to get your insight, so do a live stream on it. I'll be more than happy to do so. So, yeah. But, yeah, I definitely agree that Monique has lost a lot of fans, most likely due to this whole, I wouldn't say maybe losing fans, but I don't feel like she's getting the support that she may have gotten during her Parker heyday, To my knowledge, Melrose, I believe she was mad at Tyler Perry because there was a time where Tyler Perry called her into his dressing room, and I think it was to convince her to go overseas to promote the movie Precious, but she didn't want to do it. And I think it was pretty much, in no uncertain terms, it's kind of like, hey, you got to play, sometimes you got to play ball in order to make it in Hollywood. Like, you got to do this and that. Pretty much, bend over backwards and dance, like, if you're a black person. But yeah, Chandler, I'm definitely going to keep this up, especially with the haves and the have-nots going on a hiatus after the next couple episodes. I got to do something to keep this channel going. I mean, hey, I'm a YouTuber. Alicia, hey, can you tell me where you heard about that $3 million deal? Like, I haven't heard about it, so. Am I invisible to you now? Hey, but hey, if you click on that super chat, then your then your chat would have been highlighted. I'm trying to inform you guys. Yeah. Just tell me, where did you get the information? That's all I need to know. But yeah, let me just put it this way: not just on Monique, but not just the Breakfast Club, but when you're in a position, when you have a huge fan base, I would definitely want to source my information before you label somebody donkey of the day or just say something on the air where you have millions of people listening to you. Because I will admit, I do agree that I am against Monique using these big platforms like gender and racial inequality to promote her own stuff in terms of, I want to get more money because I wasn't getting what I deserved. And then she was saying that if I took that money, what about these young black female comedians or even legends like myself who come after me, and then they're told, oh, well, because Monique took $500,000 and then you look at everything she's done, then I don't see why you think you deserve more when you aren't relevant now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Headline news. Headline news. Hey, one moment. Let me try to check it out myself. Headline news: Monique Netflix deal. I mean, hey, if you could put a link in the chat, that'll work. Lovely TI 202. Yeah, let me check. Oh, you agree with most of my points. That's why I'm still. Oh, I appreciate that. And again, the reason I haven't done a lot of these kind of live streams is because I never wanted to use this channel like as a political platform or anything like that. But I just wanted to have open discussions about what's going on in the world today, just to kind of keep the, I feel like this kind of hey, these kind of discussions can either bring us together or, throw us apart. But let me just put it this way. I love interacting with people as long as it's respectful. Like, we can disagree, but as long as we're respectful about it, then I'm all for the conversation. I'm all for the conversation. I like this better because sometimes I don't get to watch the haves and the have-nots and the loving you is wrong until way later because I have to record it because I'm at work when it comes on. Okay, great. But I mean, hey, hopefully these kind of videos will make the channel grow. But hey, just a quick plug. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and share it around. We are almost at 20,000 subscribers. You are doing well. Thank you. When are you doing that live stream about a man and a gun? I will do that live stream right after this one. I promise. I am starving, but how about this? We'll do that Amanda gun. Well, I'll do the live stream, but I really want to do it after the episode. But I'll do it. I'll do it after this one. I'll do it after this one. And again, we're not close. It's 41 minutes, but this is a good discussion. I mean, I might try to do another live stream where I actually have people call in. But I think I need to use an external speaker and then put that to my microphone. That way everybody can hear. Okay. Now, again, we're not closing this live stream off yet. I feel like we're having a very good discussion now. Overall, let me just put it this way. Let me know in the chat, are you boycotting Netflix? For me, that is a hard no because there are way too many shows and movies that I love to watch. Hey, cool kid, Young Buck 888. Thank you. That is the name of my other channel. Actually, that channel is where I would do this kind of stuff, but that channel has not grown enough. When that channel gets to like 1,000 subscribers, then I'll start doing more live streams. But this channel has a bigger platform, so. I don't know. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm definitely not boycotting. It's something that I can afford. That's like somebody telling me to boycott Spotify. Get out of here with that. No, just no. Get out of my, because number one, it's free unless you get premium for like $10 a month with no ads. So no, because again, if we're boycotting Netflix from Monique, what do we get out of this? What do we get out of this? Why am I putting more money in your pocket when you have like this big house, like a cabinet full of awards and whatnot? What does that have to do with me? But let me just put it this way. For anybody that's watched the Breakfast Club interview, what did you think of it? For me, I feel like it was kind of awkward to watch and listen to. I was cringing a few times, like every time she said daddy, explain or whatever, calling Charlemagne by the name Leonard. I mean, he said he didn't mind that in another video. But to me, it's kind of like, I would definitely say like, Charlemagne, hey, do you mind if I call you Leonard? And then if he said yes, then, But I just felt like she went on there with an agenda to kind of attack people. She was avoiding the questions. Here's my thing. If you were like upset or frustrated at Charlemagne and whatnot and didn't want to answer the question, if you didn't want to answer the question for the Breakfast Club, you should have answered the question for the people who tuned in, your fans, the people who are questioning whether or not to boycott Netflix. Because even if you explained it 3 times, or even if you told it to Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club, they didn't understand, that's why you got donkey today, I would have thoroughly explained it, because all you were doing was talking about what happened with Netflix in terms of my resume doesn't matter. Chris Rock, Amy, Dave made X amount of dollars, but you never said how much you felt you were worth. You never said how much you wanted. We don't know all the details. That's the thing about a boycott. It's like if you look at like civil rights, you know, boycotting, sit-ins, Rosa Parks, you knew why you were doing that because there were injustices going on. You're talking about injustice in regards to six-figure deals. Like the everyday common working person is not going to boycott something that's something they can afford just because you're getting $500,000. Think of it this way: $500,000. $500,000 would be life changing for a majority of your fans. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Chandler, I'm happy to say that my cousin Jennifer subscribed last week. She loves your videos. Oh, thanks. Tell her I give her a shout out. Jennifer, thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm definitely not boycotting Netflix. I do like Monique, but there are a lot of other exciting, entertaining movies and shows to watch. Not to mention there are other bigger issues out there to deal with, you know? And plus there's a James Brown documentary. I think it's called, crap, Get On Up. I forgot the name of it, but I looked at it twice already. I'm a sucker for documentaries, especially music or movie stars and whatnot. Egypt, I love that kind of stuff. Not to mention, do you Netflix and chill? Not that I do it because I'm single, but Netflix and chill. Do you really think that? I feel like that's another reason young people aren't behind Monique. Think of all the younger people in their teens and 20s who would give up Netflix and chill nights to boycott. Get out of here with that. All right. Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this live stream. I literally did. And again, just let me know on Twitter if you haven't followed me. In the description of this video when it posts the live stream, I have links to all my social media, Instagram, Facebook. I have not related pages there. Just feel free to tweet me or whatever. Let me know what kind of big topic, you know, things in the news you would like to. No. Get On Up was the James Brown movie, but there was a documentary and I forgot the name of it, but I actually watched it twice already. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to close out this live stream. It is 4:45. At 5 o'clock, I'm going to be going live again, but this time we're going to be talking about Amanda and the Go Eat, but it's neat. Okay. Well, you know what? Look, I'm going to go eat first. Then I'll come back and do a live stream on Amanda's gun. So thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, please subscribe, share this video around. Tell your friends about the channel because, again, YouTube is what I do full time. So the more people subscribing, the more, hey, it does good for the channel. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.